Growing Minds. Welcome back to your show, and welcome back to a curriculum that's so much needed, both for parents and servants. I don't think we have done a program like that, to my knowledge, in many of our churches. How to educate parents to be better, and how to make servants to serve better. This program was put together by several minds that each one has a special expertise that he or she is really willing to help out servants and parents. Many lectures already were given, and few are still remaining, and everyone can go and check the past, and hopefully they will be present in the coming ones. I was very honored and proud to be joined with an amazing faculty, Sylvia Farag, Sylvia Zaki, a speech pathologist, Nina Merham, psychiatrist, Christine Agaibi, and in today's lecture, Adly Youssef, who lives in Montreal, Canada. He is pharmacist by training, but really his real job, the one he honors and loves and treasures and work with it and serve with it, as a certified life coach and a parent educator. I have attended to Adly many of his lectures, and I'm very impressed with the way he conducts himself and the plethora of information and experience that he got. And I'm sure many of you will be happy to hear him. Before I give the mic to Adly, I would like to remind you with two things. This is a program, a curriculum, where a certificate can be given at the end. If you were to be interested to get a program for mental health improvement in your service or as a parent, which will be signed by Abuna Dawood Lamai, please make sure you sign the easy question that will come at the end of the lecture, just for us to monitor that you were able to attend. The second reminder, Adly and all the speakers are very fond of receiving your questions. We prefer we receive the questions during the session, but if you can't, you can always send them, and we will be asking those experts to respond back to you. So throughout the lecture, feel free to send us these questions, and Adly will be happy to respond to you. I don't want to take more time, because I'm sure you are all very excited to hear a lecture about kids need these words. Adly, I'm very happy to have you today. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Dr. Hani, and welcome everyone. Another session of the series, Growing Minds. And as Dr. Hani said, it's Kids Need These Words. When we thought of this title, we were actually aiming to talk about one of the major communication tools that we have with our kids, which is our words. Majority of connections with the kids is through the words. And there is power to our words, to our tongue. As we see, it is written in the Bible. Death and life are in the power of the tongue. And also, St. James says, the tongue is like fire. He describes it as world of iniquity, unruly evil, and full of deadly poison. These descriptions give us an alarm, and they caution us that we need to use our mouth very cautiously. And that's why even we find someone like King David in the Psalm 141, he said, set a guard, O Lord, over my mouth. Keep watch over the door of my lips, because he doesn't want to speak something that can be destructive or harmful. And we are actually commanded in the word of God in the book of Ephesians chapter 4, to not let any corrupt word proceed out of our mouth, but what is good for necessary edification, that it may impart grace to the hearers. So it is clear that there is two kinds of words. Words that can corrupt or can be evil and cause harm, and the words that are needed for necessary edification, and they give benefit and grace to the hearers. So in today's session, I would like us to share some of these words. First, the ones that we need to avoid because of how harmful and destructive they are. Words that we need to avoid. Number one, I'm going to share with you actually 5 of them. Number one is words of blaming. When we blame the kids, when we tell them something like, look what happened. I missed this because of what you did. Your sister is now not able to do this and this because of what you said. And these kinds of blaming, what they do to the kids is the feeling of it's all because of me. I am the one who is the problem in this house. It's a very negative and harmful feeling, especially if it is repeated many times. The second kind of words that we need to avoid is the shaming. And this is a bit different. We are shaming our kids because we had certain expectations, and then they didn't do things according to these standards or expectations, and then we start making them feel ashamed, just even by the looks sometimes, not even the words, but the words are more harmful. How come a deacon does like this? No, you shouldn't do that. That's not what I expected from you. You're a mature girl now, in your 13 and 14 years old. You shouldn't do that. And of course, the feeling is, I'm not good enough. My dad, my mom don't think that I'm good enough. Again, a very harmful feeling. And number 3 is the threatening. And here, when we threaten our kids, we say things like, if you do this one more time, you're going to be in big trouble. And to many kids, what does this mean? What is this kind of trouble? So there's 3 responses or 3 perceptions that the kids get. The first one is, okay, I'm going to do it because I'm scared. I'm just obeying out of fear. The second is, how can I avoid this trouble? What can I do to still do what I want and avoid the trouble? And the third could be, it is just a threat. Because he tried before, mom just said this, and she didn't do anything. She didn't follow through, or dad didn't follow through. So you know what? They just say this is nothing's going to happen. It's just a threat. But the kids are not learning something here. Again, it's not something edifying. It's not something positive. And then we have the comparison words. Did you see XYZ or Fulan اللي هو واقف في الكنيسة, the one standing at the church, how he's standing to pray? Why can't you do like him? I heard about uncle told me about his son when he comes from school. He sits from 5 to 7, at least 2 hours to study. He does extra homework. Why can't you be like that? And then the feeling is, I wish I was this person, but I can't. Or I hate myself. You want to be the dad of this person? Okay, go be this dad. You don't want to be my dad, or you don't like to be my dad? Okay, I hate myself. Again, very destructive, very harmful. And then number 5 is something also very famous. We put a label on the kids without even sometimes noticing. He's very stubborn. He does that because he's so stubborn. You know what? She's so sensitive. She's sensitive. She cries, she whines, she cries, she whines. She's just a crybaby. We're putting these kinds of labels, and the kids perceive them. They hear them many times, and anything negative that happens, they just say, it's because I am stubborn. Yeah, I know, it's because I am that, and they put the label. And some of them would say, okay, you think I'm a troublemaker? You call me a troublemaker? Okay, so there's more trouble to come. But if you think of it, none of us as parents would love to have kids with these feelings. It is nothing that can help them grow into spiritually mature and responsible adults. It is not good even for their mental health, their self-image. So what are the words that we need to tell our kids? I put them in an acronym for us so we can try to memorize them or try to have them in front of us in an acronym, TELLE. This is what we need to tell our kids. And let's remember that a wholesome tongue is a tree of life, as said in Proverbs. A tongue that is healthy, a tongue that is full of nourishment, that's a wholesome tongue, and it gives life, just as you're pumping life with your words into your kids' days and everything that they do. So, what does this acronym stand for? And what are these words? The first one is the T for truth, the words of truth. The second is the E for edifying words. And then we have an L for love, words of love. Another L for words that help them learn and focus on learning and growing. And then the second E is for the words of encouragement. Let's dive deeply into one of them at a time. The first one is the T, truth. We need our words to deliver the truth and help the kids identify what is true versus what is just fake or what is just an assumption. And that's by asking them. When they come and tell us, you know what, my friend says this and this. Okay, I understand, but what's true about this? Or what is our standard of truth? What can you use as a resource for the standard of truth? Or another question, okay, I hear you saying this about what's happening or about what people did. Is it an assumption or a fact? How reliable is this? All these words, if you can see, I'm asking actually questions, and I'm asking the kid to figure it out or helping him to reach to the answer under my guidance with these questions. Because nowadays, with all the resources that we have, with all the exposure, with the media, with the TikToks, with the Google it, they can tell us, you know what, I know everything. I know this. This is what I found out. And the truth becomes superficial. Sometimes it is fake. Sometimes it's mixed. Sometimes it's people's opinions coming for us as the truth. So we have to be very careful. We need to use our words to deliver the truth and to help the kids figure out the truth for themselves. The E, as we said, edifying. Our words need to be edifying. And here we mean to say the words that teach, guide, and coach around principles, around values, to add virtues, to help the kids acquire all those standards and morals in their lives. So there's lots of occasions and lots of instances in our kids' life that we can do that. For example, I'm just going to give you examples. And here you'll find that there's a theme in these examples, and the theme is short, concise. We're not going to lecture. So for example, the kid is talking about something. Oh, this reminds me, I love this quote, which talks about the same thing. I love it because 5, 10 seconds, and that's it. I just threw this nudge there about the quote and why do we love it. Or I can say something like, when there's a talk or there's mention about what's happening in the church, there people are serving, my kid did something to help others in the church and whatever, I can tell them, yeah, that's amazing because, you know, there's greater joy when you serve others. The words that I speak help them understand these values and principles. Or just another example about friends and friendship, and we're going this party, we're going this outing, and I like what your friend did. You know what? A true friend brings us closer to Jesus. This is something really nice. Again, a small sentence that helps them understand what is the value of friendship. Everything in this world will eventually come to an end. A fact, a principle about how temporary this life is. When we hear our kids talking about, oh, did you see their house, their car? Oh my God, I wish I had a car like this. Okay, I understand it would be nice. But remember, everything will come to an end. Only the godly people will live eternal life with Jesus Christ. This is our main focus. That's it. We don't have to give lectures. But we have to speak those edifying words when the occasion is there and when it is necessary. So we are always seizing opportunities for this to happen. And another example, when you tell your kid you have control over your own response regardless of people's actions. That's a very nice principle. I liked what you did. You were very calm. That means that you have control over your own responses, even if someone else is angry. So these can go on and on and on. But the examples here are just to tell us that we can throw in and we can pass on these kinds of edifying sentences that help our kids capture the essence of these virtues and standards and principles without lecturing. Now the L. And of course, we can't say an L without telling the words of love. And it is very actually, it is sad that we see kids, especially in their teenage, they come and say, I feel like no one loves me. And they fall in a trap with anyone of any background. Once they hear the word, oh, that's nice, I like that, I love you. And they are just in hunger for these kinds of words and these feelings because they are not fulfilled at home. So it is very important that we keep mentioning these words. Kids will never get fed up. And we mention in different ways. I love being your dad or mom. You know what? I want you to know. I love you no matter what. Nothing you do will make me love you more or less. I just love you no matter what. And the kids hear this and they feel more confident. They feel more loved. And things like, I'm so grateful that God gave us you as a precious gift. We're even thinking of him as a gift and we're thanking God for this kid. And he hears us saying that. I enjoy spending time with you. I know sometimes it is difficult to say because we are overwhelmed, kids are noisy, misbehaving. But we need to deliver these messages regardless of the words themselves. But the essence is, I am loved. I belong to this family because I hear this all the time. I know that I have a special and a unique space or place in this house because this is what my dad and my mom deliver all the time. And then the second L. This is a very important one. The words that help the kids continue to learn and grow. Because nowadays, everything can be very easy. You can click this, you can do this, can be rich like that. These are the teachings that people try to teach our kids. And there's shortcuts to this and there's shortcuts to that. But the truth is that we need to continue to learn and grow as long as we live. We grow spiritually, mentally, and physically. We learn, we acquire new virtues, and we need to put in the effort to learn and grow. And we can help our kids. We ask questions. Okay, tell me, how is this helping you grow? What's one way that you think can be done, or one person that can help you improve in this? I learned something new today. You know what? I learned and I share with the kid what I learned. What about you? Is there something new that you learned today? So the idea of learning and growing is constantly there. When necessary, I seize again the opportunity and I share. And I help them understand that this is part of our life in a mental way, in a physical way, and in a spiritual way. And the E is encourage. This is the second E. The first one was edifying, and the second one is words of encouragement. And of course, we all know how important it is. We mentioned it actually in the last session, that encouragement is like magic, but we can also add words of belief and trust as words of encouragement. I believe you can do that. Let me know if you need any help, but I believe and I trust you can do that. You know what? God gave you a special talent in, and I mentioned what the talent is. Or we can say, you're showing that you can do or say, and we continue. And when you put the effort and commitment in this, you can achieve that. So we are focusing here on the kids' given talents, efforts, and abilities, and the value of effort and commitment and diligence we're adding. So we're not just saying you are smart, you are strong. Because what if the strength fades? What if the ability to think and be smart goes away? That's, again, it's not healthy. And there is also one of the best ways that we mentioned last time to encourage is when you specifically mention what the kids did. I noticed when you helped your brother, this is something specific. And then we give it a name, your kindness in helping. This will make you more likable as you grow. People will come seeking your help. And we envision the future. We mention it, we give it a name, and we envision the future for them if they continue doing it like that. So once again, tell your kids those 5 words of truth, of edification, of love, and learning and encouraging. These are the words that I believe all the kids would benefit from. When you tell them words of truth, words that build them up and edify them, make them feel loved, and focus on continuous learning and growing, and always feel encouraged and know that they are going in their future with those virtues that can help them as they grow. And I would like to remind us all that there is pleasant words. Those are pleasant words. And the Bible says that those pleasant words are like a honeycomb. They are sweetness to the soul and health to the bones, as it is said in Proverbs 16. Now, before I end, this is the question that we are always asking at the end, and you can scan the barcode to make sure that you have attended the whole series and the sessions. And the question is the following are examples of words we need to avoid: blaming, shaming, edifying, or A and B. By that, I come to the end of the presentation, and I believe we have some questions that came. Let us just have a look at them. Okay. So the first question we have is, how can I balance between encouraging words and making them become overconfident? Okay. When we encourage our kids in the manner, let me go back to the slides, in the manner that we mentioned, here we are saying something specific. If you see, there is dots after every sentence, because I want to mention something specific, something real, something tangible, something they can sense in their life. So this is a reality. When we're talking about a reality and not generalizing something, then the kids know that this is what Dad mentioned. It's something that I do or I say, and it is there. So I'm not just giving them something that they can go with their imagination and think about it more and think magnify it so that they become arrogant or overconfident, like he said. So that's why when we are more specific in our encouragement in that manner, the likelihood of the kids feeling this arrogance or overconfidence is much less. And giving those examples, I was intentionally giving them to help us use our words in this manner. As I said, we don't tell them, you are smart. You're the best. Best in what? What did I do? This just puffs me up. I'm smart. But I did this and God gave me this. It is a given talent. My dad said, God gave you this special talent. You are showing this because you put in the effort and the commitment. If you don't, then maybe you won't be able to do it the same way, and so on. So these kinds of words, although they are very specific, but this specificity is important because it is also a prevention from this feeling of arrogance or overconfidence. So let us try to use the words as they are here in the examples, or very similar to that, as long as we are specific and not generalizing the praise. And also, these are encouraging words, not praising. We're not just praising them generally. Another question. My words sometimes are very critical. I feel I cannot help myself because there are so many behaviors. There are so many behaviors that are not accepted. What can I do? When we are overwhelmed with lots of behaviors like that, it actually makes it difficult. It makes it not so smooth and not so easy to start like thinking of the words and thinking of the encouragement, because of how we are weak and tired and so on. So this is understood. But one thing that I always try to encourage parents to remember is, if you are being too critical and you start attacking the kids or blaming them or shaming them, any kinds of these words that we mentioned in the beginning, please ask this question. Remember this question. It's a very simple question to answer and to ask ourselves. What did the kid learn when I did this? And another important question is, how did this affect our connection? Just by being honest and answering this question, these two questions, you will discover that the kid didn't learn anything. He was just shamed. He just heard me yelling and I'm being critical. Why did you do that? I can't take it anymore, and so on, whatever I said. But there's nothing that has been learned. He didn't grab or grasp anything from me. And the second is, he will walk away and the connection is getting less, and the bonds are getting less because of this interaction. So basically, no one is benefiting from this. So what can we do? I think we can just apologize. I didn't want to be like that critical, and I didn't want to say these words. I want you to learn this, but maybe my way in teaching you wasn't the best. I'm still going to teach you the same things. I'm still going to ask you to do the same things because those are the right things. But maybe I'm going to use a different way. This is how we go back and we start again. Because basically we can't just give up on our kids. They're still going to do mistakes. It's going to be, again, more tough. But the solution is that we modify our approach after apologizing, and then we start again. This is how it is. That's why parenting is very tough and it's long term. But be confident that with the prayer and with God's support in our weakness, and the more we go to Him, we tell Him, I am weak. I need your help in this. I messed it up. Please give me another chance tomorrow. And God listens because He wants us to partner with Him. So when we continuously do that, it becomes our habit. We really feel that there's something coming from above helping us and changing those moments into better, positive ones. We have another, actually, this is the last question, number 3. My husband and I are quite different in our words. My husband is wise and thinks before he speaks, but I'm spending all the time with the kids, and I know I should be more kind, but I get angry because the kids like my husband more. Well, first of all, that's very nice of you that you are commending your husband. You think how wise he is, how he talks in a better way. That's very nice. That's very positive. And you're also confessing that you are not doing what you want to do. You want to be more wise. You want to be more calm. So again, this is a very courageous confession. And just like I said, it's always these moments when the kids really like pressure us a lot, that we need to be very careful, especially if they see another approach or a kinder approach from the other parent. So here we need to be more cautious. The solution, I can offer 2 approaches here, or 2 solutions. The first, when you say, I spend all the time with the kids and I know I should be more kind because the kids, I get angry because the kids like my... So When you're spending more time with the kids, it is important that you tell them this, guys, these things are happening many times and they are being repeated. And this is not appropriate or this is not right. What can we do to make them happen less or to make the outcome, and you mentioned the outcome as you want, whatever the situation is? You're asking the kids to focus on a solution to help you and to help themselves, especially if you're spending lots of time. So there's lots of repeated misbehaviors from them. This is one thing. The kids need to be involved in the tool of focusing on a solution. And we follow through with them once they offer something. Okay, mom, we understand, or I don't know what to do. Then we start giving them options, or they come up with options and we start following through. That's one thing. Focusing on a solution with the kids, especially if it is repeated. The second is my role. Once again, I'm going to work on myself. If I'm being less kind than I want, I'm going to tell them, you know, I wasn't kind with you. I shouted, I yelled, and that's not right. So next time, I'm going to ask you to do the same thing that we agreed upon, the solution that you said, but I'm not going to yell. So these need us to be a bit humble in confessing our mistakes to the kids, apologizing. And the kids really acknowledge this. Many times they actually try to help because they know that we didn't want to do that. We confess that this is a mistake, and we teach them that they also confess when there is mistakes or anything like that, misbehaviors, and that's a role model for them. And then we go back and try again, because God is giving us chances always to become more strong and try in a new day that He gives us as we parent our kids. Okay, so I believe we come to the end of the questions here. There are no more questions. I just want us to be reminded that you can send your questions throughout the week and they will come to us and we will be happy to answer all your questions. Another reminder is for tomorrow. We have a session about protecting our kids from online dangers. And this is, again, a session in the same series, Growing Minds, at 9 o'clock. So we'll see you all tomorrow at 9 p.m. And for tonight, have a great night, everyone, and God bless you all.